Hey guys, sorry about this video. You guys will find out. So me and Garbu sat down to record, and it seemed to be going all good whenever it was on the screen, watching the audio levels and whatnot. But then I sat down to edit it here, and my microphone was turned off the entire time. However, it doesn't sound, well, it sounds really bad, so my audio was actually going from Megan's microphone on the other side of the room. So it sounds like I'm kind of like underwater and like really echoey, and it sounds like really bad. So like, I don't know, I've tried to touch it up. Hopefully it's not the end of the world. It's one of the few times I'll admit that it wasn't Garbu's fault for once, okay? I'll let Garbu have it for once, alright? There you go. Let's just jump in this, alright? So, me and Garbu came across the thread, and it was about what would be the best places, like best states in America to set a campaign. And I saw that, I was like, that's a perfect video for me and Garbu. And I was like, you know what, I'm just not even going to look at the thread. Garbu was like, oh, do you want to mention it? It's like, no, we got better ideas, you know? So,
hey, fuck those threads!
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need them!
We can do better than that. So let's start off Maine. The only thing I know
That's
about
right.
Maine
We said it. We're better than you, and we know it.
Yeah. So the only thing I know about Maine is Stephen King movies. I don't know. It's kind of spooky, kind of X. What do you think? You know what? And also criteria. We should put in any time frame of American history. This could be like pre-colonial times, where it's like, you know, Native Americans, like only Native Americans. It's just anything and everything. You know. Just the location, the geographic location. So if everyone's like, oh, you know, actually, California wasn't like inhabited until like, well, shut the fuck up. Okay, we got to make up the rules, and we can change these rules whenever we feel like. Okay, guys, you know. So
more like guidelines than actual rules.
exactly. So Maine, what would you go for Maine, Garbo? I would make X as fuck. Honestly.
Well, the scariest part about Maine is how close it is to New York. That's the first scariest thing. And the creatures that come out of New York are, you know, exponentially horrifying. Because when you think about it, in terms of a campaign, New York's basically an open-air dungeon. Like, if you want to really mind mash it in, think of like the standard New York alleyway, right? People are afraid to go into them. There's monsters inside of them. You may die and not come out again. Like, literally, the New York by itself is already kind of a campaign area because it's creepy as shit. I mean, not the dick down New Yorkers, even though I really like to, because you guys are fucking subhumans. New York.
I might have to cut that because there was a new update thing saying you cannot dehumanize people. It's like, okay, fine.
But James, New Yorkers aren't people.
Yeah, honestly, the amount of people that I know,
they're barely American.
The amount of people I know from New York State that absolutely fucking seethe over New York City is unreal. I love it. It's honestly one of the funniest things ever, coming across people from like Rochester or Buffalo and absolutely laying over it all. You know, it's amazing. It's beautiful. So it is.
Fucking New Yorkers, they ruined New York.
Well, they're almost like captive prisoners, almost. You know, the people that live in.
They are
in the state of New York.
That's why it's funny. They are.
They're literally captives. So
it's funny because it's true.
So Maine, let's go for it. I'm gonna go for a load of X tier stuff. Honestly, it's kind of like the weaker version of West Virginia, though. If I be honest with you.
I would say it's like Dollar General, West Virginia.
Yeah. What about New Hampshire? Now, New Hampshire, I feel like it's very posh, very well to do. You know, if you wanted to, you could do like, I think it would be great for the purge. You know, just saying. I think it could work.
Well, actually, New Hampshire is actually very pro-gun too.
Exactly. So I think it could even work even better. You know, I don't know anything else about.
I think. Now, in any coastal state should work off a sea theme for its campaign, like something's coming from the water or something in the water or something like that. You know, I think that would work best with that particular area. When it comes to New York or New Hampshire or Maine, it's best to use, well, I guess New York State as well. It's heavily forested, but it's near big cities, so you could do campaigns where you're based either in the forest or in the city, and things are coming out from there and vice versa. I mean, like, imagine like having a campaign, right? And I have
Garbu, you,
play with the idea.
I don't find like you just want American Civil War 2 seeding. That's all it is. That's what you're planning. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm thinking about campaign ideas.
If you read my upcoming smut book, yeah. you will learn that quite quickly. But if you're like, say you want an open air dungeon, right? Because basically, when you break it down, New York is a tile dungeon with buildings and alleyways and tunnels and subways and that kind of shit. So if you really wanted to, you can base yourself out of New Hampshire, or where's your thing? Out of New Hampshire or Vermont, things around New York. Because you see, like right here, New York's actually very small in terms of what it is.
Yeah.
It's like it's a small area, but it's very dense. It's a very dense area, like Yonkers. So when you scroll out, you can base yourself out of Connecticut, New York State, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire. You can come down and adventure in New York, which is basically, you could technically, if you're a good enough writer with a good enough imagination, make New York into a giant dungeon that's constantly crawling with whatever have you. Like, say you want to do a past campaign. In the past, you could use all kinds of monsters, that kind of shit.
I think Manhattan was like more of a swamp than anything. Whenever they first,
I think I'm pretty sure the entire thing's still sinking too because it's so fucking heavy.
Yeah.
But you could, or say you want to do modern, you can do like, I don't know, there's like mutations or something hit the water, like a bioweapon has converted all the New Yorkers into what they are now, fucking mutant, horrifying creatures.
Well, you could do, what was it? At the end of Watchmen, the original comic, where they do like that like alien bomb explosion thing. You know, it's always, and the thing is, like, New York's always been like one of those like hyper dense cities. What I would kind of love to see, if I could do like a fantasy version of New York, I would add in more like levels to it and like connect a lot of the buildings with like sky bridges.
Well, yes. Plus, the levels could have, because I actually did, late night reading. There's a lot of subterranean shit under those buildings, all the steam ducts and all that weird city shit. So you can do a single building, and it can be a multiple above ground and below ground layers, which I do find fascinating. I do find that actually quite fascinating in the fact that you could do a quite expansive campaign thingy, and you don't have to go very far inside New York.
I think
you could go.
A lot of this is going to end up in Burger Punk, isn't it? I know finally this is going to end
up in
Burger Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. But,
I don't want to say but yeah.
Yeah, probably. Now, I'm just going to put it out here. I think the best monsters are going to come from New Jersey. I think New Jersey will be S tier when it comes to its monster selection. Just putting that out there.
The Jersey Shore's a giant dungeon.
Yeah, honestly, it would be perfect. Tell me it's not. Whatever happened to that whole Jersey? Is that like culture still alive? Do like people still get on like that?
I fucking hope not.
Because I remember when it first became a thing. Like, what was it, like 2009 or so? 2010-ish, maybe? That TV show?
I know that those in Jersey fucking hate the Jersey Shore of the show because it makes them all look like fucking shitheads.
Yeah.
I know that much.
To be fair, they did the same thing in the UK show. They did Geordie Shore, and that's like from Newcastle. And everyone
did it what now? Geordie Shore?
Yeah, it's from Newcastle. I know, I can't do the accent, but everyone knew that's... my brother actually lives not far away, so he does. And everyone I know that lives there, and around that time that it came out, they were like, "Oh my god, please make it go away." They were absolutely disgusted by it all, if I'll be honest with you. But like, hey, what can you do? Pennsylvania. Now, what do I know about Pennsylvania? Farming state. That's about it. I don't know anything else about Pennsylvania. Barnes got a population.
It's more or less It's kind of like the refuge from New York, if I'm being frank with you. Pennsylvania, New York State. It's kind of people go to be near New York, but not be in New York. It's a big ass forested area. Not that much. There's a lot of trees in Pennsylvania. But at this point, you're hitting the Appalachians. And now, if you want a place,
cryptid campaign. Honestly, but the Appalachian Mountains, as you said, Garbu, before we even started recording, Appalachian Mountains work for any campaign in any setting ever. Again, it's very it's kind of similar to Europe anyway. The Appalachian Mountains, You know what I mean? And even like the type of like woodland that it is, it's like I know there's going to be a lot of Americans that are like, actually it's completely different. It's like, well, like it's not that far off climate wise and what have you. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not the climate really; it's more of the mystique around it. Now, the Appalachians as a whole are usually a very poor area because they were going pretty good with the coal boom. Once they started phasing out coal, well, it kind of ruined a lot of towns, along the Appalachian Mountains, like West Virginia, in Kentucky and Tennessee. Along the Appalachian Mountains, it's very cheap to live because there's nothing fucking there.
But that's the truth. Pretty much everywhere in the world, if you live beside the sea, you've got better jobs. If you live in the mountains, you're going to be poorer. And it's just one of those things, like anywhere you go.
And where this comes into play is that you could do a campaign in these mountains where it's all the survivors from the great fallout of major cities. They all fled these. You could have some kind of apocalyptic thing happen, right? If you just write one up, it's not hard to do. And then all the survivors flee towards the hardy folk of the Appalachians because they're high up. Say the thing chasing the survivors can't get up there, yada yada. You can kind of play it up like that.
You can put in so much math, guys. You've got so much math to fuck about with. Have you ever seen
meth powers?
Well, yeah, that too. But have you ever seen? I think it was a documentary done by. I think it might have been done by like Johnny Knoxville or something like that. But it was called The Wonderful Whites of West Virginia, and it was about this family called the White family. And like they were.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that.
You know that one? Honestly, that's a campaign and a half. I always imagined whenever I was younger, I always thought of that family as like people you go to in a Grand Theft Auto game, and they would give you missions. Does that make any weird sense?
DJ.
I think you would work that in easily enough. What else could you do with the Appalachians of obvious cryptids? I don't really want to talk about cryptids, if I be honest with you, but you want to talk about cryptids?
I mean, the Appalachians are steeped in cryptid things. I mean, if you ever go... Hold on, I can actually type in Appalachian cryptids here. One second. This is actually just a podcast kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not Appalachian Credit Union. Shut up, Google. God damn it. Yeah, so not only are there actual, wild fauna that are dangerous as shit in Appalachia, but there are a lot of cryptids like the Wolfman, Bigfoot, the Wampus Beast, Mothman. What was one called?
What is the Mothman one again?
It's Indian. It's Indian tribe death cat. Either the Chickasaw death cat or the Cherokee death cat. And then there are the Grims. So there are Grims. They look like the dog with the red eyes. The Grims. Those are all over the Appalachians. So there are actually a lot of bestial cryptids as well as human, like the Mothman. And how people. He's apparently the Mothman's got cake. If you listen to these fucking people.
What do you mean he's got cake?
But apparently when he's either drawn or sculpted, he always has a fine ass. Like any sculpture of the Mothman, any picture, the boy's got cheeks, and I don't understand why that is. There's also the White Things. The White Things are a thing near West Virginia, I believe, where they call them the Ram Squatch, where he's a giant woolly Sasquatch with these big ass ram horns, and I know him as the White Things.
I've got the question for you. This is one I saw. It was a meme I saw a while back, and I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever heard. Do you think so? Bigfoot. Does Bigfoot have a human cock, or does he have a lead rocket like a dog?
Somehow I just fucking knew it. I just fucking knew it.
I'm gonna say Bigfoot's probably got a human cock. Just put that out there.
Oh. I'm gonna say human cock. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. I don't really want to research that any further. I'm just gonna make a guess and call it a day. So I will. Honestly, so this is where we get a bit more interesting. So the only thing that I know about North and South Carolina is peach farming from what was that, House of Cards? Peach farming from House of Cards. And that whole thing with Charlottesville a few years back. So what can we do with that? Maybe so Roman Dodge Chargers. Maybe that could be a thing.
More or less, you'd use that for a Civil War or I mean, you could do a campaign around that. I don't know what kind of system you would use. You could do a theme where there is an open conflict, and the party has to like go in. And
I kind of want it to be like a ghost card, though. I kind of want it to be like maybe it could be like, a modern day X. So like the car comes to life, like, you know what I mean, and like hunts down people that escape death, kind of like Final Destination.
This car hates living liberals.
Oh my god, you've got no idea.
Players, your mission: stop the ghost car from killing all the liberals.
I'm probably gonna have to cut that. I'm not gonna. We'll see what happens. Okay, that's like, Garb. It's only ever videos with you that I get hit with
dings. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm making no money off this video. Damn you, God, bro.
Anyway.
Wait in the background.
So is there anything else? Like, what type of what's like the Carolina is like when it comes to like climate and whatnot? It's kind of warm, isn't it? You know what I mean?
The Carolinas are hot as shit. I did airborne school in Fort Benning, which should be in South Carolina, because Fort Bragg's in Georgia. Let's see, Fort Benning, because I believe we call it Clacky Lacky. Let's see, Fort Benning, South Carolina. So Clacky Lacky is a interesting place. It's hard to explain it, really, because how to explain? Because like I'll get to Missouri in a bit, around that fucking state, but South Carolina, it's actually a very spooky place. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but when you're out in
older,
like,
I suppose, like it does have a bit of an older history.
It feels old. It actually feels like, compared like the general vibe of South Carolina to like Kansas or Oklahoma. South Carolina felt a lot older. There's a lot of history there, and I would actually do like a spiritual campaign in South Carolina where there are spirits that are roaming or ghosts, like or like history clashing with itself. Because you think about it, South Carolina has seen warfare ever since we fought the British.
Yeah,
you think about
that's
it, like,
actually, yeah, it's quite, yeah.
Because it saw warfare all the way up until after the Civil War, and then after that, it's been a huge military base. They've been training guys for World War I, World War II, Korea, fucking. I mean, everyone was trained there for a war, so you could have a kind of Call of Cthulhu-esque thing, I suppose, or a campaign where dimensions of time are collapsing on each other, or you can do it spooky where like the ghost of soldiers past or trying to seek revenge, or like you can do all kinds of shit in South Carolina.
Although if I was to do like military sort of like spooky stuff, you'd have to do it in the desert. Like, come on, you gotta do Nevada. One of those ones.
Oh, no.
Like, like if I'm doing it, I'm doing it. Like, I feel like if I showed up to a game and I was like, yeah, I prepped this, we're gonna do like a Delta Gleam sort of modern Call of Cthulhu sort of setting. We're UFOs, all that type of stuff. Sweet, where is it? North Carolina. I was expecting desert. I am very disappointed by this. I don't know. I think I would be anyway. Anyway, Georgia. What do you think? I don't know anything about Georgia. Oh, you know what I do know about Georgia? So Megan's mom was really obsessed with, them like shitty TV shows where it was like the Housewives of wherever. One of her favorite ones was Housewives of Atlanta, and fuck me, was it trash and sin? Like, Jesus Christ. That one, and the other one that I actually kind of enjoyed that she watched, which was the exact same thing but had a different name. It was called Mob Wives, and Jesus fuck, it was oh my god.
Mob Wives?
Yeah, it was called Mob Wives. There was this woman here. Hold on, let me get it up. It's called Big Ange Mob Wives. Right, wait, do you see
Big
her?
Ange?
Yeah, she was called Big Ange. You need to hear her voice. Look at this thing.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I think that's your monster for Georgia, to go and try and find and defeat Big Ange. Big ass fake lips.
Yeah. Oh, the bog colors. I think
Gentlemen, your mission: find and kill Big Ange.
So I want to go back up. I want to go back up because I don't want to waste Florida. I think Florida is too good, and I want to keep that to the end. Will we do that, or do you want to go into Florida?
Well, we might as well go for it. I mean, we have a lot to cover, really.
Here.
Damn, we here, we in it.
Right, okay, so obviously, what would be the big ones? Of course, vice, a lot of drugs, a lot of money, fast cars, beaches.
Swamps are creepy. There's tons of illegal imports in Florida from Cuba. I mean, this place is a hot... Plus, there are like swamp people there. Yeah. And now, honestly, what I would do is, if I was doing a Florida campaign, I'd make the main hotspot / dungeon fucking Disney.
Yeah, also, oh my god, the theme parks would be great, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you really work with that.
All the theme, because there's Disneyland, there's Orlando Studios, correct?
I have no idea. Honestly, Megan went to Disneyland, so she did. Or whatever the one is.
But but also there's big ass racetracks there. Like, you want to do haunted cars, imagine going to like Daytona, having like haunted fucking NASCARs trying to chase their party and shit.
Yeah, I think there's a lot you can work with there. That and also like,
go ahead.
Florida is one of those places where, like, you know, up until like relatively recently, it was uninhabitable. You know what I mean? For most people, let's be serious.
We will make it habitable.
Yeah,
that's literally what they said.
Well, like, you know, like, let's be like, this is one of the things that gets me. Like, you know, see at the minute over here, it's fucking melting. Like, the heat is unreal. I'm not even joking. It's only like 20 Celsius, so you can just look that up yourself and find out how hot it is. But fuck me,
how many Freedom units is there? What the fuck is Celsius?
Yeah, I have no idea what it is in Fahrenheit. Either way, the problem is no houses over here have AC in them, and all the houses are designed to keep in heat, so they are not fucking trying to disperse it. So Jesus Christ, it's just, I don't know, it's bad. That's all I can say. It's really fucking bad. That knows I'm just not cutting for heat, because like you only get it for like 2 weeks of the year and then it's gone. And that's it.
It's hot outside.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That was one of the big things that put me off. Is, see, whenever I was like 18, and like I was really thinking about it, like I was, because I did the Army for Work experience and I really enjoyed it. I was really thinking about it, but then I looked at the Middle East. I was like, ain't no fucking way I'm going to no fucking desert, man. Fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, I just, when people would talk to me, it was like, I'm not going to no desert. Like, it's just never going to happen. Don't be silly.
We'll pay for your college tuition, bud. And then America went off to war.
Yeah.
But actually, if you want to get right down to it, the big nitty gritty, people say, well, why not Louisiana? Well, here's the thing about Florida and why it's perfect for multiple campaigns and multiple stories or games. A, you're near Havana, Cuba, and the Bahamas. Those are two more. Those are two more fucking areas of where you can go and do your campaigns. You can island hop through Treasure Cay, Nassau, and think about it. These are old
Caribbean.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Who doesn't know?
So old forts, that kind of shit. You can find like ancient kingdom secrets. You can go to Havana and deal with Cuba.
yeah, deal with communists through them and
I forget where the Bermuda Triangle is home. Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, it's massive. It's like fucking gigantic, so it is.
Yeah. And you're near the Bermuda Triangle. You know, it's you're actually in a like an entire hot spot. Yeah, actually, it almost touches Florida too. It goes right through the Bahamas, in the very tip of the triangle, kind of like kisses Miami. You know, like this is a perfect area for all kinds of spooky shit, fun shit, ghost shit, swamp shit. Cryptid shit.
Garbo, I was more scared of the Bermuda Triangle as a child than I really should have been. It was absolutely zero.
It just eats ships, bro.
Yeah, I was really scared of it.
It's just sucking them down.
And then when you realise the sheer amount of stuff that goes through it every day, it's like, why is this even a thing? Why do people even talk about it? It makes no sense.
The Bermuda Triangle, brought to you by Pepsi.
Oh, fuck you, Late Night History Channel. Jesus Christ, man. That's exactly what
Hitler's still alive. He lived in the Bermuda Triangle and no one knows.
Yeah, I've got a joke. I can't say it. Actually, fuck. No. Keep going. Anyway, so look, Florida, I think it's a pretty perfect one.
Florida is damn near perfect because it has all the essential elements. It has that ancient American history. It has multiple country history, and you can pop down to the Bahamas and do island hopping. You have a giant swamp area. You have big cities like you can actually turn Miami into like a mini New York dungeon. Yeah, you could. You can go through all like go to Disneyland and fight Necromancer Mickey. I don't know. You have all kinds of shit you can do in Florida, and you can probably do 3-year campaigns in Florida easily before even heading out to Appalachia.
Yeah, honestly, I think Yeah, honestly, the only downside is it has to be hot. Like, that's the only thing. Like, it's not even like
It's gotta be hot.
Well, what's Florida like in like winter time? It's just piss down. It's just rain all the time.
I mean, it doesn't really. I mean, it rains a lot in the South. Like Louisiana rained a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why the South is so wet. It's why the South is mostly swamps.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you know this, but we've got a website with lots of models. And whenever I say lots of models, I mean lots of models. We've got models for any setting that you can think of. With humans with biddies, animals that shouldn't have biddies but do have biddies, dwarves and elves with biddies. Look, we've got a lot of smut models. But it doesn't stop there. We really do have models for anything and everything. And to be honest, they look so good. Chef's kiss, so good. But it's not all smut for all you good Christian Minecraft server players. We've got you covered. And we even got the weebs covered too, which is unusual for this channel because we don't like weebs.
Yeah, the weebs aren't that bad, okay? They're just fun to laugh at.
We also have 5th edition subclasses and adventures, which some of them are free for download, and we sell a physical printed copy of Steel Water as well, and you can request a signed version, if that's your thing, where I'll draw a penis on it for you.
If you want us to sign a couple of decks, we'll give you decks, okay, guys? That's what we want.
Anyway, if you enjoy what we do here, go ahead and check out the website. It helps us out so much, and we don't need to worry about our YouTube overlord striking down another one of our channels. Our website is also now available as an app on Android. Also, and the winner of the daily giveaway is this guy! Yay! Woo! Woo!
Look, anyway, in for a chance to win, all you gotta do is like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, automatically entered in.
And to claim the prize, you just send an email to neckbeardiacontact@gmail.com. Let's go back to the video.
So, me and Megan did a video the other day, and it was for our channel, Terminally Online, and it was one about my brother got me pregnant again, and then everyone in the comments was like,
I was so sad when I was like, oh, come on, guys. No. You're making us look bad. Stop getting pregnant. Stop getting pregnant.
What was that movie? What was the one? Hills of Eyes? Where was that set? Or Deliverance?
The Hills Have Eyes was based in the Hills Have Eyes location. It was in the desert somewhere. California. Yeah.
Nah, you're gonna have to do like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Honestly, see like any.
Well, that'd be like the mountains have highs, because you're in Appalachia. Now I think besides Florida, the entire Appalachia Range would be perfect. Now when you get to the Appalachia Range, you can start dipping into Missouri and Arkansas, and here's where you have the Ozarks, and that's where the real creepy shit happens.
Yeah, Ozarks would be good actually.
Yeah. So if you move your mouse towards the north of Missouri, there you go, right there. See that big green area? So there's the Mark. Yeah. So there's the Mark Twain Forest. That's too close.
This shit off.
No, back up. There you go. So see all those ridges and crags and all the green. What are you doing? Stop it.
Okay, there you go. Right, I'll just go here. So
just sit there. Just stay.
Okay.
Stay.
Okay.
So above Springfield and towards Columbia is where all the fun spots in here in the Missouri help, and then go down towards Branson. Branson's a big city, Las Vegas type area, and I thought Branson was creepy as shit because it tries so hard to be Las Vegas. And it's in this beautiful area, like these mountains. There's mountains around them, and it's very quite pretty. But Branson is basically like fucking Fallout and like New Vegas because it tries very hard to be Vegas. But it's not Vegas.
Yeah, it's like wearing a skin mask almost, but it doesn't quite hold up.
Now, of all the areas here, like this area right here, I would do it in two locations: A, Branson, or B, the middle of the Mark Twain Forest. The reason why is Missouri is flanked by two Indian states, Oklahoma and Kansas.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Now, if you move your mouse towards Choctaw Nation, you'll see it down the bottom. Yeah, right there. That's where the Kiamichis in the Ouachita Mountains are, and the Kiamichis are a odd vibe. It's old cattle towns, old miner towns, old reservation towns, and it's basically one giant ghost area that's still inhabited. It's like there's actually a place called Mears, where the Mears restaurant. It's a big burger restaurant. But what was it? But it was at one point like the post office, and general store, and restaurant, and something else, where it's just one building did fucking everything. And also around here, a lot of Native American lore. Like around the Kiamichis and the Wachitas, there are actually a couple of Mustang herds. There's a bunch of cryptids, a bunch of bison and buffalo. Sorry, not bison. Buffalo would be technically the term used down there.
I think Oklahoma could be pretty good. I think Oklahoma's got a lot going on for it.
Yeah, all the myth.
Yeah, there's an awful lot. It's the only thing is, like, the only problem that I've got is I don't know much about pre-colonial, or even like I don't even know that much about colonial expansion when it comes to like Native Americans. I just know like they got pushed about, and like it's like you go live over there, and then slowly but surely more and more of the land.
Pushed about is a very polite term.
That'd be a nice way
sure.
to put it. Yeah, well, you get what I'm trying to say.
The Trail of Tears could be a good angsty ghost, spiteful ghost campaign. I'll tell you that much. But really they got pushed out. That's a term you can use, sure.
I mean, let's be serious. If you look at like population and stuff, then you're going like straight up genocide. One of the things that kind of does annoy me though is I get this a lot, and you don't see it half as common as what you used to. But you used to see people being like, the Pilgrims came and like coughed into like their blankets. Yeah, because like fucking people in the 1400s know anything about fucking germ theory. Fuck off, you know what I mean?
So I have a rather spicy take on this, on the whole Indie War. I would say then don't lose. Because it's a very spicy take. I know, but it's like you could have just don't be mad you lost.
I think a good way the way I look at the Native Americans.
I'm gonna get flamed to comment. How could you say that? Well, they lost.
Yeah. Well, imagine it like this.
They did a good job. They killed off Custer and his entire. I think it was a battalion or brigade.
They fought well. They fought very well.
Yeah, they did pretty good for what they had. They didn't have a lot, and they were able to fight to a kind of a standstill. But if you ask me, they should have kept fighting and killing as far as they could. But it's just
you big starts eventually. That's the problem.
Well, the problem is they're fighting a quote unquote modern army, and they didn't have the same mentality or technological advancements as because basically at that point we're getting into Civil War territory, and they were getting repeaters and machine guns going. So it was, and also I believe the first breech barrel artillery piece came out around that time. Because I believe that. Well, because I believe, unfortunately, it was used to shell and massacre an entire village. So, in terms of
1820s, 1830s,
what
1820s, 1830s, around about that time period,
1800s, early 1800s, yeah.
So the only thing I would say about it is, I always like to imagine when it comes to like the first Americans or the first Europeans showing up in America.
Burgers.
I always like
the first burgers.
Yeah, I always like to imagine it kind of like aliens. Like imagine if aliens showed up today, and that's kind of what.
Oh yeah, it would be a hard uphill fight the entire way.
Yeah, I don't think it would be like even like the ships showing up, like the weapons they have, everything that they have is just so advanced. Compared to again, it's like alien technology showing up. Like, how do we even compete with that? We just can't within reason. You know what I mean? Maybe now, I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's even more of a stretch. Like it's one of those ones. It's kind of weird. But anyway, look, let's keep moving on. Well, where do you want to go? Do you want to go to Kansas or do you want to go down into Texas?
So here's the thing about Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. It's all kind of the same vibe, really, because it all revolves around the mountain range, I think, or in the plains, along with Appalachia. Now, if you want to go north, that's where we get hardcore Indian territory, like North Dakota, Montana, that area. Yeah, up into Canada. That's where, like, the real spooky shit happens, in my opinion, because South Dakota, North Dakota is basically still Indian territory. A high Native American population, as well as Montana. And when you start going left in the states, you start hitting the Rockies. Now, what's really fun about the Rockies is that in Washington, near Spokane, and around that area is actually a fucking rainforest. And I've been in this rainforest. I went on before I joined the Army, me and the wife went on I think it was an 8-day vacation through Washington. We landed in Seattle, fucking hated it, and went east. And we went east, we found natural hot springs, a literal rainforest. Like, there's actually a term for it.
I would say Washington is quite nice. Washington State does look very... That's the problem I've got. Like, see Washington and Oregon, very beautiful states. But the people in them, holy fuck.
Yeah. So basically, Washington and part of Oregon and I think Idaho, a little area up near Spokane, and the big green spots are all temperate rainforests. Oh, and what really kind of pissed me off about this place was it's always fucking raining. Like, it'd be like this pissy drizzle, and I would get so mad because I was raised and born in Oklahoma, and I was like, it's not raining, it's just pissing on us. And like, it wasn't enough to like get through your clothes. We were always moist.
Yeah, apparently...
like, you're just always fucking moist. I was like, ugh.
I remember I saw a diagram a while back, and it gave like American states like what climate they have in comparison, and apparently like Seattle and Vancouver has very similar climate to the UK. So there you go. You'd love it here.
And but yeah, like if you want like a really cool place to come do a campaign, choose Washington's temperate rainforest, because I've actually walked through that. I hiked blindly in a direction on my compass, and me here went hiking and camped, and literally it feels like you're walking through a fucking fantasy realm in that rainforest, because like it's such a weird vibe, but I loved it. Like, it's just the fact that there aren't any like Seattleians in there was another big plus, you know.
Well, what are these states
known for? No, you go for it. What are they known for? Well, the thing about how cool the area was is that we're hiking along for like hours through blind trees, and boop, you pop up. There's a fucking ranger cabin out of nowhere, just chilling. It's like, wow! And you walk up, and you realize this ranger cabin was built in like the late 1800s, and is still used. So you walk in, like, you can see where they've rough hewn the logs for repairs to the old logs. Look inside, it's got cable TV. Like, what the fuck? You know, it was so cool.
Yeah, well, you couldn't be nothing like that. Don't be mad. You know what I mean? One of those ones. But, like, you know, so what sort of enemies is there any like local legends we could throw at this? Because honestly, the only things I know about Oregon is they look very pretty, but they've got a lot of mental people living in Seattle and Portland. You know, but I couldn't tell you anything more than that, if I be honest with you.
So, I mean, the obvious one is a Civil War type connection with like, so we'll go with the most basic and like easy to do. That'd be a modern Civil War where it splits. And then when you do that, you can do a simple military campaign in the States. Very easy to do.
Well, would you do
now when you do that?
You go for it.
Well, I'm saying here you start tying in the fantastical elements of it all.
Yeah.
Easy to do. You would do like maybe some experiments or old tech coming out, or I don't know, aliens, whatever have you. And you were going to ask something? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so what I was thinking is like, you know, how much would the Rockies, because the Rockies are kind of far out from, like, you know, because let's be serious, when it comes to like whenever you're speaking about the West Coast, you're really talking about the people that live actually on like the West Coast, you know what I mean? Like that thin strip the entire way up is just like mentals. But if you go in like even like 100 miles, it's like, yeah, it's quite, it calms down an awful lot, you know, the further you go in. But the Rockies are kind of far out, you know. If you were going to use that as like a barrier for like a modern day Civil War campaign, how effective?
They're very wide. Yeah, the Rockies are very wide and very tall, and you can hide in the Rockies very well. If I were a military commander to attack a target in the Rockies, I would say no.
Yeah,
because you would go into it and you would be swamped and ambushed at every fucking point. After doing mountain warfare training in asymmetrical fucking mountain ambushes, nah, fuck that shit. Because you can go into the Rockies and never find your enemy in the entire time. If your enemy has higher altitude than you, you're fucked, because they can always track where you are and always fire down onto you or across to you. Nah, fuck that. The Rockies are wide and long, and they are craggy as fuck. Not to mention, like, there are all kinds of mines up there that you can just hide entire armies. Now, also, same time, if you want to do like a fantasy-esque kind of thing, you want your dungeon Oh yeah, just choose an old fucking mine because those mines are huge.
Yes. Yeah, there's nothing
I
to
won't
them.
say I broke into multiple mines. That'd be illegal. But
Yeah,
if I were, if I did and were to do that, I would find out those mines are expansive, huge, and daunting, and extremely creepy.
What was that one about the guy who claimed that he found like a lizard reptilian underworld? Do you know that story?
I'm pretty sure that meth helped him. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, do you know the one I'm on about though? There was like a guy, I don't know if it was in California, it was somewhere around here, and he claimed that he found like these caves, and like these caves led to like a deep underground where it was like reptilians that had been living for like 10,000 years. It was like an entire civilization.
I'm pretty sure that's called toxic mine gas. That was
yeah, it's very diva-like. But I remember something about that a while back. Now the only problem that I've got is, see with the West Coast, pretty much all the West Coast, I can only imagine mostly newish. Like the biggest one obviously would be American Civil War II sort of campaign. That would be the obvious one that I would go for. Bar that, you could do like a lot of stuff with Nevada, you know, a lot of Area 51, paranormal.
Well, Nevada would be very easy.
Yeah, really. it's a go-to. Everyone, like, it's got its own stereotypes going on, but I just feel like it's kind of the whole West Coast is kind of pigeonholed within reason, and the only other thing you could do like back in time would really be maybe some stuff with Native Americans and Gold Rush. What else could you put on it? Like, what else could you?
I mean, in terms of comparing, the West Coast is not nearly as easy to create a campaign as the East Coast. The West Coast is too new. Like, when you think about it, the West Coast is actually very new in terms of the age of America. Yeah. I think by at least maybe 112, this is ballpark in chat, relax and calm. It's 112 years of difference, you know, because it was a very slow crawl. And while there were people in East Coast during the big push West Coast. So yeah, we pushed west, the Western expansion. It didn't get big to the same amount as the East Coast until like maybe 100 and some odd years later.
Yeah, like very late 1800s, really.
Yeah.
What was I about to say there? Fuck, I had an idea there for something, but I can't remember now. So what about, like, this is the stupidest one. So do you know the way everyone says this looks like a gnome guy with like a hat?
Yeah, it's a guy cooking chicken.
Yeah, can we make this into like, let's say it's like a sleeping giant, right? Okay, it's a
sleeping giant.
Yeah, it's a sleeping giant, so it is. And he climbs up, so he does, from his eternal slumber.
Oh, okay. So when he wakes up, so like when he wakes up, it tears the entire thing apart. When he wakes up and pulls away.
Yeah, can we please have that?
Yeah, I can see that.
Just make it, just because
and
then Montana like stops breathing on Idaho for 5 minutes. You know, if we're really gonna go for it, like what the fuck's that face about? Come on, man. You know, what is that actually about? Because Americans have actually got really good like state lines. You know what I mean? He's very like neat, bar like some.
Because we didn't use rivers, we used to be made up our own lines and said, fuck you. Like, there was actually a war between Oklahoma and Texas for a very short time over a bridge.
Okay. Makes sense. I suppose, like, let's be serious. So, where have we not done? We didn't really do much of, like, you know, Michigan, Wisconsin, whatnot, Ohio, Indiana.
If you ask me, Michigan and Wisconsin should be mostly, like, haunted shit. Because the Great Lakes swallow people, and there's an old thing that the Great Lakes don't give up their dead, or something like that. Like there's a lot of songs about ships that have gone down. I can't think of all the names, even though I've sang them multiple times, which feels a bit like a piss take.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, those states should be reserved for like ghost ships or like ghost type Cthulhu type things. Because you think about it, these are big ass fucking lakes that behave like oceans and swallow ships. And like, I mean, it's honestly, I find it the creepiest part of the state actually to be those fucking lakes, because plus the water's so cold or some shit, it preserves the wrecks. So you can be going on your boat and look down and see an old fucking wooden ship just sitting down there chilling, just being chilling.
So, but what time frame would you put this in? Are you going like 1600s, or are you going for modern?
There were wooden sailing ships in the Great Lakes. Like, you can go all the way back to like the 1700s, I believe. Let's see. Oldest shipwreck in the Great Lakes. Let's see here. The oldest shipwreck is from 1679.
Hey, I told you the 1600s. Now, all I'm going to say is, while we're over here, and I see Minneapolis, I'm not going to say about what I think would be a perfect location for a modern interpretation for Minneapolis. And we're going to move on from there, okay, guys? That's all I have.
I want to say it. Ready?
Either way, I don't know. You guys make up your fucking interpretation.
Look at this ship. This ship is from the 1600s, and look how well preserved it is. Look at that ship. Look at that. That's fucking insane. It's still there.
Oh, did you send me on Discord, did you? Oh,
yeah, Discord, yeah.
Hey.
Like, bro, it is still intact. That's how weird the water is.
Yeah.
Like, there's actually there's a little rowboat behind the ship too. I'm trying to find a picture of it. Like, the little rowboat that fell off the boat is still intact. Now look at the masts are still intact. Those always rot first, and the mast is still there, dude.
What is it that keeps it together then? Is it like, does it just not have is there no algae eating it?
It's just how cold the water is, man. Like the water will kill you so fast, it's insane. It's that fucking cold.
Okay. Yeah, I think you could do something with that. I think you could definitely do something with fucking big Ange. I definitely think you can work that in.
I remember there is a
could you? Oh, I've got an idea.
Oh, no. There's actually a SCP that involved the Great Lakes. It was the Ghosty Boys, I think it was.
I think I've heard that one. I think I do anyway.
So I'm pretty sure it was based off of the Evan Fitzgerald, I think.
Could we do then the Great Lakes as the cold version of Piracy? Instead of if we're not going to use the Caribbean, do you want to make it like the more depressing version as the Great Lakes instead?
Yes, the more morose version. Yeah, I can see that.
I think you can make that work. And honestly, it's one of those ones because again, if you put it in British and French and stuff, you could definitely do a bit of hijacking. There's definitely room for piracy in the Great Lakes at a lot of different time periods.
There was actually a couple of naval battles on the Great Lakes during the War of 1812.
There you go. Then we can make it work. We can. Make
Fuck,
it work.
Really?
What?
Hold on. There were fucking men of wars and frigates fighting on the fucking Great Lakes during the 1812 war. What the fuck?
That's pretty cool. Didn't know that. So where have we...
Bro, no fucking way.
What?
The HMS Lawrence was there? Oh, that's a fucking 112 gun fucking man of war.
Don't ever get looking battleships. What was that one you used to sweat? You used to love? World of Ships. Was it called?
Well, there's World of Warships, and then there's a sailing battleship. Hold on, I'll find it in the library. It was called where the fuck is it? It's in my Steam library. I gotta find it. It's like an Age of Sail MMO. See here.
Yeah.
Naval Action. That's what it was. Naval Action.
Yes. Yeah, you used to live off that.
Yeah, I was a huge sweaty dude in fucking Naval Action.
Yeah. So
behold, the grape shot. You motherfucker!
So the only thing is, find out people are going to complain on us if we missed any states. Because they're like, why do you not talk about our states? So
why didn't you bring up Iowa? Fuck you, Iowa. That's why.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Iowa. Right, let's quick fire through the rest of these. So we've done all them. Colorado, we never touched that actually. What do you think about Colorado?
Well, it's part of the Rocky Mountains. It's more or less a state of the Rocky Mountains. So lots of mines. Actually, I used to vacation in a place called not Paul's Bow. Salt Lake City. No, Lake City. So it's called Lake City, Colorado. That was in it's basically a giant valley of these mountains, and there's Uncompahgre and all that, and that was a fucking baller location. But at the same time, it's just basically a big area in the Rockies, so it would fit in with the general Rocky aesthetic.
Oh, you know what? Actually, seeing as we're over here, and just made me think of it. So I saw Salt Lake City there. I was just thinking about Ted Bundy. Honestly, why is there no serial killer sort of RPG done, and you can have it set up, right? So think of it like this. So the DM would run 2 games essentially, and one of them would be he would run the game for the serial killer, and the serial killer would be like a one-on-one game. So it would be, and then the other party has to try and track down the serial killer. So he does. So they do. I think that could be pretty cool. What do you think? Can you make that into a game?
So I kind of so I actually kind of played around with that. Where in my Valor games, I have James be Op 4, not you. It's just the Canadian James. But I'll say, hey, I need you to play an Op 4, and I'll have him on our own channel. And of course, he's trying to kill the players every fucking time. And I mean, it is possible to do too. It's actually not very hard at all. And it actually is quite fun when your players have to actually fight a human being who's out to get them. Like, it's actually quite fun for me, at least. And the players panic because they're like, "Oh fuck!" Because they, you're fighting a human who's like, "I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you."
But I would like to expand on that because it's always been something that I've thought about it.
I can guarantee that you and me could make a banger serial killer RPG. Guaranteed.
Yeah, I think I'd be interested in that. Yeah, actually, I'll look into that. So I'm liking so much other stuff at the minute, though. You know that my problem is I get ideas for stuff and then I start doing it, and I'm like a flying shit. And I just like
from Neckbeardia and Garbro, bone and blood.
Yeah. Well, I think what we could do is I do love the idea of. No, actually, I'll save all that for later. Anyway, let's keep going. So, anywhere that we haven't touched that's not like mainland. So will we go to Alaska? Do you want to do Alaska?
Alaska. Alaska is one where
invaded by Russians, land bridge invaded by Russians.
Not just that, but it's so close to Russia that you can actually have migration of Russian, Mongolian, or Chinese flora and fauna mythology kind of go into Alaska. Now that may seem like a stretch to some people, but I don't think it is.
No.
If you look at it, I'll explain it. So if you go across here, you'll see that. Near the tips nearly touch here, and it's not hard to say that there was some kind of big happening in Japan or Russia or China, and their mythology goes to Alaska trying to escape. Because imagine like a lung dragon just being in Alaska, like that sounds dope as fuck to me. It's very easy, and I before I thought of doing the Veil Riders, I thought about doing a big Alaska book where, like, in my idea. A big thing happens. I forgot what I called it in Japan and Russia, and China tries to lurch upon that and try and take both. But the thing is, it's not the people; it's the mythology tries to take over those people. So the Japanese and Russian mythologies fled to America into Alaska. So you have Russian and Japanese mythologies trying to coexist with each other and the Alaskan mythologies.
I can see that.
And the humans are like, "What the fuck is going on?" So like you can see like all these creatures like yokai trying to adapt to Alaska. People like,
fuck, I only realized this. You just want to put Oni in Alaska. That's exactly what it is. That's the only reason why I thought this was a good idea.
Look, bro, don't take this from me.
Right. Okay.
But the thing is, like, we have like Alaskan guys with like their polar bear guns hunting lung dragons and shit. Like, to me, it seemed like a pretty fun idea.
Yeah, I think
but I know not everyone's like, come on, God, bro, it's fucking like it's just trying to make something happen, kids. Calm down. Like sometimes you gotta make sometimes you gotta do some wild shit to make certain things happen. All right.
Also, while we're in Alaska, I am kind of working on. So I don't know how I want to do this exactly, Garbu. So I'm turning Shadow Moses, Metal Gear Solid 1's like game. I'm adapting it to Veil Riders, but the problem is. How much do I adapt to Veil Riders, or how much do I just copy and paste it to be Metal Gear Solid, essentially? Because I want to just make Metal Gear Solid, but using the... I really just want to recreate Metal Gear Solid.
Neckbeardia stealing Garbro's work.
Yeah, well, that's what I want. Well, your thing is, your system works so well for like modern combat, like modern tactical warfare.
Oh, thank you, boo.
What else would you use? Like, if you want to do Metal Gear Solid, use Veil Riders, so therefore, why would you not go ahead and recreate Shadow Moses? Like, come on, it's perfect. You can't say it's not. It would be perfect.
I mean, you really could. I mean, you actually really could, because a lot of the aspects of the game would work with Shadow Moses and the entire virus got going. Not really the magic system, I would say, but you could work magic into it if you really wanted to.
Like there's some like elements in Metal Gear Solid that may as well be magic. You know what I mean? Like some of the stuff, it's just so out there. It's like, oh no, it's actually not. It may as well be magic at this point. Fuck it. And like the supernatural stuff and all of that. But anyway, so I think that's Alaska.
because wasn't the Shadow Moses thing like a revolt?
Yes, it was pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
Was it's a military base. They're testing out some new weapons, Metal Gear, and it was Foxhound essentially take over because they feel like they. You know what it was? It was kind of like, have you ever seen the movie The Lock? It was essentially the Lock.
Oh yeah.
That's essentially what it was. You know, it's very mixed in with that. Also, The Lock's a fucking great movie. I haven't watched it in ages. I still buy into that idea.
The Rock was a good fucking show though.
Yeah, I stand on. I still really love the idea that Sean Connery is James Bond in The Lock, though. I really love that idea. Have you ever heard that one?
Yeah, I actually have, and actually it does fit quite well. When you think
does.
About it.
It's one of those like fan theory ones that I'm like, it's too good. It's canon for me, and I don't care. You know. So anyway, before we forget, let's go Hawaii. What do we want to do with Hawaii?
Oh, Hawaii.
Yeah, we've got Hawaii.
I think Hawaii would be a great ghost one, but at the same time, I don't really know a lot of Hawaii cryptids. I really don't.
No, I see. I think I would rather do Hawaii as like colonialism. I would set it much earlier. I would kind of do like Easter Island stuff with Hawaii, even though it doesn't really fit very well with Easter Island. You know, but like,
I think the only thing that would work really well would be like kind of like
maybe like a
portal invasion or elemental invasion or because it's Hawaii. It's on a fucking on an island. How do you get the creepy things there? I think the only way we would do it would be like, oh yeah, there's like a portal opens up and now there's orcs on Kauai.
Yeah,
that's all I can think of.
It's so fun,
you know, or like ew.
Yeah.
Oh no, the beaches are covered in crab people. What are you gonna do? Like I don't know how to. Like, I don't know what to do with Hawaii because.
Well, we know what we could do with like Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is just an extension of Florida. Like, you know, if you're gonna do the whole like stuff, everything you can do with Florida, you can do with Cuba, you can do with all of the Caribbean. So I don't really think we really need to talk about Puerto Rico all that much. Whereas Hawaii is very, very different. You know. I think it is. It's worth a mention at least, but I don't have any cool ideas to throw out there.
Yeah, you know? The only thing to do would be like, there's a portal opens up by a sorcerer, and now there's an attack on Honolulu, and you got to try and push away the fucking hobgoblins coming in or something.
This is tsunami, tidal waves. You've upset the Google gods.
I guess a really cool thing would be like you're on Hawaii and something happens, like a spell is cast and like no guns work. So you gotta use like ancient Hawaiian melee things, like beat the shit out of fucking like orcs or some shit. Like because actually the Hawaiian and the Samoans had pretty cool like melee weapons, basically clubs.
Like clubs, like the teeth on them.
Like the Samoans had. The Samoans had like jade clubs. They'd beat the fucking shit out of people. I've always found that fascinating.
You know what show a lot of people slag off, but I actually loved it, and I don't even feel bad. Deadliest Warrior. That was such a fun show.
I fucking loved that show, dude.
It was so much fun, and it was so stupid, and it was so over the top. And what I loved was whenever the people would come in, and they would, my guys would kick the fuck out of your guys. And I remember there was one. It was like the French Foreign Legion versus like Gurkhas or whatever, and the Gurkha fella he didn't really know. It's like why you being a dick, man? You know what's. It was like he was taken aback. I was like, why are you getting on like that? You know, I don't know. I always loved it, but like it was one of those ones where you'd be watching like the IRA versus the Taliban. You know what I mean?
The fucking that one's classic because it had that meme of the guy like holding the fucking detonator, looking through the fucking window, going and you click. Whose terrorist is better? IRA wins.
He's gonna win the Viet Cong versus the SS. Oh my god,
bro!
So
I thought that was like it's basically like shit posting before. Like it's basically like non/K 4chan shit posting.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was so much fun, and I don't even feel bad. Like you can slag it off all you want, but it was fun TV, and I don't even feel bad. So honorable mentions: should we do a Mexico expansion and a Canadian one while we're here?
I mean, I don't really know much about Canada. It's a lot of woodland, so a lot of shit can hide in like Manitoba and Alberta. A lot of shit can hide up there. So basically, when you go north, it's all deep wood.
Yeah.
Like
What is it?
If you scroll up,
I
there.
think if I remember, it's like 90% of the Canadian population lives within like 100 miles of.
Yeah, like all this, like up in like Yukon and all that, Northwest Territories, it's all deepwood forest and glacier cut lakes.
Yeah.
Like this is where like the glaciers were, and they were so heavy they cut lakes into the land as they kind of like traveled forward. And it's just it's like, I know there's like speculation, but a lot of this forest up here isn't actually been explored. It's just they know it's there. They're not going into it, but it's there. You know?
Honorable mention. We should have a 1300s Viking expansion as well. Well, we're
fuck yes, dude. Fuck yes.
Mention. I love the
actually.
You go for it.
Well, the thing is, there are actually they have found, now they say they're fake, but they have been carbon data tested. There are rune stones down in Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
Like there's actually like a thing called the heat. Yeah, there is the Heavener rune stone, which they figured out. Which haven't figured out. We're pretty sure that a Scandinavian man just made it for fun, but they have found runestones scattered all the way down from Quebec down to fucking Oklahoma. And they've been carbon data tested, and they're really old, you know. People are like, and they found like old Viking towns and stuff that were burned to the ground by the natives, but they're all along the coast,
Vinland,
like Nova Scotia.
Vinland, I think they call it.
Vinland, yeah. Yes.
So I'll give you my one that I came across that I thought was really cool. So pretty much all the Vikings on Greenland died. They didn't die; they just vanished, and we don't know what happened to them.
Well, they didn't die; they were killed. But you know.
Yeah, well, look, we don't know. That's what I'm going to put down. We really just don't know the story. They just lost contact.
I'm pretty sure I know.
Well, let's assume so. But anyway, that's the 1300s. Anyway, I came across this story, and I don't know how true it is, and you don't know if it's made up, but I think it's cool enough that it's worth a mention. So it was one of those like ships that was looking for like the Northwest Passage. You know what I mean? Like they were trying to get ships to go through all this shit to try and go around America. Anyway, they were going around this.
The thing is, I'm pretty sure, it is known that the longships landed on America.
Yeah.
The problem is they came in such small numbers that they were just probably murdered off by the fucking Native Americans.
They killed like Native Americans. But this is where I think it gets
your fucking ringmail's pretty cool until you have like 14 tomahawks trying to chew through your fucking face. You know, you can only do so much.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest things is like when it came to like the American expansion, the disease killed off so many of them. It made it like mop up work almost. You know what I mean? But no, here, this is where it gets really cool. So this is in, I think, the 1700s, but I can't remember exactly. So anyway, they were looking for the Northwest Passage. They're sailing along, and they see a body on, not going to call it a beach, but let's call it like a glacier or whatever, but it's essentially like the beach. Yeah? And they're going along, and they see a body, so they go over they send out a wee boat to go over and check it out, and they're dressed like an Inuit, and they've got like the furs on, all that sort of stuff, and they turn the body over, and they look at him and it's like, he's white? Where did you come from? And they've got no idea.
It's a fucking white guy.
You're fucking white. You know.
You're white.
Yeah. What was that meme? You know, it's like you're black or white. I don't know. Like, I probably shouldn't put it in, but I thought that was a pretty interesting one. One of the ones that I thought was really cool. That one of the reasons why they believe that the Vikings on Greenland didn't do so well is that they never adopted a lot of the culture of the Inuits and Native Americans. They never wore fur, for instance. They continued wearing wool forever, and they never adopted wearing fur whenever it gets fucking cold in Greenland. You have to wear fur. They're like, no, we're going to wear wool. Like, what's wrong with you guys? You know what I mean? It's that type of stuff. So, and again, back then, the idea, it was seen as like, how would you explain it? It would be like, could you imagine like a British explorer or like a German or French explorer going into Africa and then dressing up like the natives? Could you imagine like the worldview of the people of that time period? You know what I mean? They wouldn't be very open to that idea of people dressing like that. Would that be fair to say? You know?
I mean, sure, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, look, you're dealing with people from different time period. So the idea of them dressed up and doing all that sort of stuff, they would have been like, oh no, you don't want to be doing that sort of thing. No, dirty. You know what I mean? It would be,
In terms of a TLDR, it'd be like probably the easy way to put it, just that.
Yeah, they just wouldn't have proved of it very well for this. Look, it's time period, you guys get it, for fuck's sake. But anyway, I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. Is there anything else you want to? Should we put on to this before we wrap up? I think I've quite enjoyed this. I feel like this is more Garblu's fucking tour of America though than anything. You know, it's like what does Garblu think of?
Garbro tours America. Fuck the East and West Coast.
Yeah. So where's the worst place for a campaign and where's the best? I'm going to go for Florida, honestly. I feel like you've got so much different terrain to work with. You've got a lot.
Best place would be
stuff.
Florida, for sure.
I think I would go Florida. I would if I was to choose, I would go with Florida just because there's so much to work with. And after that, then I would go Appalachians. But I feel like everything you wanted to do with Appalachians could equally be done with Florida anyway. So that's why I would just choose to go Florida. I
think the worst place would be probably Iowa. Because it's got nothing going on for it, dude.
What does it do? Like, what do they do there? Like, what is it?
Farm. A lot of farming.
Is that it? Just is it like corn? Is it like chill? Well, you do like chill with corn. Could you do that even?
What? Oh, I mean, for that you might as well just do Nebraska.
Yeah, or would you be better off doing that like Maine? Would Maine be better for like children of the corn?
I'm saying, okay, regardless of that, I think there's just nothing enough going on for Iowa to be like relevant. It's just Iowa.
Sorry,
sorry Iowans, but if you're like, unless you're ground zero for like an alien invasion or a comet hit, you got fucking nothing to make you interesting.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? Before we forget, we never touched on like 1920s gangsters. We never touched that. So come on, Chicago.
I mean, yeah, that'd be Chicago. That'd be New York. That should be Tulsa, Oklahoma. That'd be Austin, Texas. That'd be Salt Lake City. I mean, Springfield. I mean, that could be everywhere. There are gangsters all over the place. Yeah,
you can easily do that. Like, I think honestly, America works overall very well for like just cold Cthulhu. You know what I mean? If you want to do like turn of the century, early 1900s, I think like pretty much all of America is perfect for that. You know, I couldn't think of that's a one time period in America that you could do all the settings and it would work for very well. Like turn of the century, like set it in 1902, and there you go. You know.
And unfortunately, if you want to do something earlier, it would have to be either Native American, or Russian, or Viking. That's your only three options. Or maybe Spanish. You could do Spanish.
Spanish would be pretty cool. I think Spanish. You know, that's the problem. Like the Spanish. I don't know. When the Spanish
we're playing Spanish mission. Your mission is to kill the locals. Off you go.
Yeah.
Yay!
Well, I was going over a lot of Comanche and Apache stuff, and like, you know, one of the guys, this was one of the Comanche, he was writing about it in like, I think he was like 80 years old, so he was writing about this in like the 1930s, and he said, yeah, when I was a kid, like pretty much, like, you know, we would just like go over and like pick fights. So like we would just steal off the Mexicans and then go back up north, and then like, you know, we would just steal off the Texans, and then we would just go into Mexico. It was pretty cash money, not gonna lie. Like, you know, it was so easy. Life was better back then. I miss it.
It was pretty cash money, not gonna lie.
Yeah, he says he misses that way of life, and you know what? I believed him.
He like waits and he goes, "It's free real estate."
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, you could though. Is there anything you want to mention before we finish up? Is there anything? Because you'll find out. There's always going to be them.
Unfortunately. Oh yeah, there's gonna be one guy like, "Hey, you ready? You guys talk about?" You know what? We can't hit everything, dude.
Yeah.
But I think a good point is me and you should make like a serial killer fucking base RPG based on the United States. I think because
I think that could work.
I mean, we've had some. We due to when you think about it, not gonna try and say no one's not worth it, or I'm right, or I'm wrong, but I think most of the best serial killers are based out of the United States. You got Jason, Freddy, the fucking Candyman.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all based in the States.
Americans do have a monopoly. The best country in the world when it comes to horror has to be Japan. Japanese know how to make a good horror movie, but bar that, America is pretty much top notch when it comes to a lot of horror elements. You know what I mean? And this is one thing I talk to Megan about a lot. See the idea of like truly getting lost. It's like, don't be fucking silly. Like let's just go over to Northern Ireland for a second, right? If I walk 10 miles in any fucking direction, you're gonna hit a road. Like they're fucking
you're gonna hit a road. Yeah.
And they're fucking motorways, so they are. You know what I mean? Like you just cannot get lost. Like look at that. There's roads fucking everywhere.
I remember there's a time where I forgot where I was. I was somewhere in the Midwest. I think it was actually South Dakota. Like I'm gonna go hike in South Dakota for a bit, see how it is. I was shitting myself because I walked for 50 miles and could not find a road. And then a snowstorm hit, and I was like, "Fuck, where am I?" And it was so white I couldn't see any fucking landmarks. It was just blinding, and I almost got snow blinded. I pull out some old underwear and a sock and make a fucking like snow mask.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck!" So I knew like if I keep walking, I might not find a fucking road. So I had to do a reverse heading and head back the way I came, so I wouldn't die out in the middle of South Dakota.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like, honest to God, like it is very possible to get like I get it why there's so many missing people in America. Like, I just get it. Like whenever you get like missing
people just go missing, bro.
Yeah, like that's the thing though. You've got so much space. There's so much land. And this is one thing that kind of gets me. Is like, why the fuck's American real estate so expensive? You know what I mean? It's kind of just, I don't know.
Because everyone wants their fucking Starbucks Chipotle within easy grabbing distance. Yeah, that's what it is, bro. I shit thee not. Like, well, how far is it from the city center? Like 30 miles? That's not. I gotta drive for 10 minutes to get Chipotle? I can't do it. Yeah. They fucking like lose their fucking minds, bro. Like, goddamn.
I don't know. Anyway, I think this is where we're gonna wrap up. Who are we gonna bully the most, though? Who's gonna be the most angry at us? Do you think? Probably the Canadians. Yeah, the Canadians are
probably those subhumans.
I don't think there's many people. I'm gonna have to bleep that. Cargo again. For God's sake, you can't say that about people. Right?
New York City people are subhuman creatures and are not people. I want to say it. Right. I want to say the truth.
Can we just recreate? You know what? Like, just recreate Escape from New York. It was such a good movie. Can we just like recreate that? Yeah. I think
Escape from New York and LA and all that.
Yeah, I think it works, Anyway, like, that's where we're going to wrap up today. I'm going to have to edit a lot of Garbo's speech on certain people's...
On those fucking
States.
Subhuman motherfuckers called...
Yeah, actually, I'm going to have to bleep that. I'm not even joking. Anyway...
what did he say? What? Is that Morse code? What is he saying?
Yeah. So if you guys are interested, you know what? Do you want to do Europe next? Do you want to do like a different place in the world? Do you want to do anywhere else? Is there anywhere worth
I mean, I think we'll see what chat says and see what they like. Chat, pick. Hey, comment section, pick a place.
We could just
pick a world.
We could like we could just be like culturally insensitive to words. You know what I mean? Can we just do
absolutely?
That? I think we can pull it off. Anyway, like I hope you guys enjoyed.
You should definitely not pick Algeria. That'd be a horrible thing for you to do because we would go so fucking off on Northern Africa.
Well, you see, the thing is, like, everyone used to always talk about the East Coast Africa, like the East Coast of Africa, like, with the whole, like,
Rhodesia did nothing wrong!
But I think, honestly, see, like, Liberia and Sierra Leone and all that, like, that stuff's insane. Like, honestly, see if you want, like, I don't get, like, don't get me wrong, reading about the Balkans in the 90s is cash money and all, but Sierra Leone and Liberia in the early 2000s, like, that's where you get the real fucking...
I thought we were ending the video, James.
Yeah, okay, look, that's gonna end it. Hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.